Namaskar, welcome to Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas, and I'm so delighted to be welcoming someone who is bubbling with creative energy and passion to serve the world in her own unique and beautiful way. And I have the pleasure of welcoming a young CEO and founder of Kaanjj. What is Kaanjj? We'll learn from Karnika Kisnadwala. Namaste, welcome.
Namaste. Thank you so much for having me here.
So I'm so happy to see you glowing with joy of offering something new. And when we say offering something new, we want to learn about who is offering. So when you look in the mirror and you try to say 3-4 things about yourself, who am I? So is it your education in terms of fashion, brand management that defines you? It is your interest in Indian culture and art forms that defines you. So how you define yourself?
I think India is a really big part of my life. My parents have taken me there since I was 1 year old, and I'm very connected with my culture, my fashion, the food, my family in India. And it was only right that I started my professional career by starting my own company that is based out of South Asia.
So sorry to interrupt.
No.
Before we come to the company, let us look at the steps that makes Karnika who she is today in terms of exposure and dreams, and then zeroing down on this particular project. I think that is quite a journey, so it'll be interesting for our viewers to learn a little bit.
So I've always been into fashion since I was a very young child. My mom has been very influential in that. She's always dressed me since I've been like 0 years old in matching outfits. I was raised in so many different cities that are main fashion cities like Hong Kong, London, New York, and in Bombay. So there's so much fashion in those countries, and that's how I think it really became a very big passion of mine. And that's why that led me to wanting to study that as my master's, and then led me to also obviously starting my career in that.
Okay, so let me learn the definition of fashion as per Karnika.
For me, the definition would be a way to explain yourself, the way that you can see someone. When you first look at someone, you look at how they look on the outside, right? And it really defines me, especially if I'm dressed well and I'm presentable, I feel better inside also. So it's something that really, it's a really big part of who I am. Fashion, how I look. I'm not conceited like that, but it's the outside is what you see first.
So let's look at the way fashion world works for a common man. And many times we have some sort of established fashion designers. They project this is going to be the trend. And now as a common man, I have no original input into whatever is coming in the market. I end up buying that, and I kind of follow as a common man a herd mentality that this is the trend and that's it. So since you have seen it from both sides, how do you feel fashion from the point of view of the designer and fashion from the point of view of a consumer?
So I think trends are obviously seasonal or they're yearly, and I don't think everyone needs to follow them. I think you really have to explore your own way. As a person, I would explore my own way. Like, I'm a very classic person. I don't really follow many trends. I rather buy more timeless pieces, things that I can rewear again and again, things I can share with my mother also. So that point of view is I'm trying to be more into slow fashion, because if you're into fast fashion, into all these trends, then all those clothes are going to wastage. That's harming the world now. And that really needs to be a focus, that these days you shouldn't be into that fast fashion. You should really focus on the pieces you can rewear for the rest of your life. I have things in my closet that I've had since I was probably in 8th or 9th grade that I still wear. There are bags that I still wear. There are my mom's, I wore her sari from when she was my age recently. So that's how I see fashion, is more of in a slow fashion point of view.
This is an interesting insight, I must say, because generally people think that market forces you to change your habit pattern, and like in the world of mobile phone also, you have new version of the
Exactly.
same with slight modifications so that there are more consumers spending their money. But now let us look at fashion as you understood, as you were traveling in different parts of the world, including some rural Indian spaces that you have seen. So there is a play of colors. There is a play of the different texture of
Exactly.
clothing, etc. So talk to me something that appealed to you while you're not even thinking about Kaanjj, but you're noticing that, oh, in Rajasthan or in Gujarat, this is something which is unique and that you don't see in Hong Kong
Yeah,
or
exactly.
any part of the world.
So a lot of my life is spending my summers in India, and I've traveled through all these different places like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Ladakh, and each place has a different kind of textile. And one of my favorite weaves is the patola weave that comes from Patan, Gujarat, and it's a double ikat weave, and that is actually it really made me very interested into how artisans are creating all these weaves and how they need to be spread upon the world. That's one of the main reasons I really started getting more into instead of just shopping, I just wanted to actually make it a career and work in fashion.
So you decided to make a career in the field of fashion, and you were already traveling to different parts of the world. So when you compare Indian fashion style with, call it international or European or a particular place, generally people look at France as the
fashion capital.
fashion capital of the world, etc. So was there any distinct difference? And then I'll come to another side, because you're this global sort of a brand that you are coming up with. It needs to address the desires of people sitting in the different parts of the world. So that brings
Exactly.
another challenge.
So each place has a different sense of fashion. I feel like New York and America has a more casual sense of fashion. We're more into comfort rather than pieces that are not comfortable. But we do care about our fashion and how we look. I feel like London and Europe is more formal. Like if you go out for dinner or for something or lunch, you wear heels. Men are wearing jackets. And in India also it's a mix. It's a mix of casual and formal. It just depends on the event. But each place has a different sense of fashion. It also depends on the weather. It depends on the events. It depends on what they're doing from every day to every day.
So talking about every day to looking at the way young minds are taking advantage of all that technology has to offer, which includes digital economy, which includes marketing online, etc. So in the concept that you have Kaanjj, everything is kind of interwoven, and you have interacted with a lot of young talents, whether it is for the photo shoots or for the designers, etc. So talk to me about the general mindset that you feel youth these days have, irrespective of the country that they come from or the culture or religion that they belong to. There is something which is universally kind of common among youth. What is that?
So in my generation and below, everyone is into technology. Everything needs to be at the click of your phone, your tablet, and everything needs to be quick, which is what everyone cares about these days. And no one likes to go, in terms of fashion also and technology, brick and mortar and standalone stores are not working anymore. Just yesterday they announced they're selling a huge department store in London that is one of the most famous in the world, because it's just not working anymore. Everything needs to be online. Everything needs to be accessible from wherever you are, whether you're at an airport, whether you're sitting at lunch at work and you just want to browse online and shop. So that was the main focus of how I came up with Kaanjj. Everything needs to be online. Everything needs to be super quick. The whole, from concept to delivery, everything needs to be quick.
So let's sort of pause for a second for the wonderful logo that you have. this Kaanjj logo with lotus flowers, is there any story behind it?
Yes, there is. So my name Karnika means heart of a lotus flower. And I did not want to use my personal name as my brand name. So I looked through my Guruma's name of Sanskrit book. And I was looking at Ka because I start with the name Ka. And I found Kaanjj. And Kaanjj means lotus also. It means born from water, and it means Lord Brahma. And I realized that is the perfect name for my brand. And our logo also has 3 lotuses. So it's showing growth, it's showing multi-generation, and the colors are also very peaceful and clean because, as you know, South Asian culture is very bright and loud. So we wanted all of our branding to be clean and calm compared to the clothes. And we wanted our clothes and our accessories to shine instead of just our brand.
Wonderful and beautiful. And there's another experience which many people long for, relates to, call it window shopping, or you just walk into a store and even if you want to buy, you try some outfits, etc. So this new technology and new way of buying your stuff, it takes away that experience. Do you see that as a weakness somehow?
I think it used to be a weakness, but now with technology, you can custom order things online. You can put in your own full measurements and order, especially with South Asian designers. There's a lot of customization and made to order, which is what our brand is. Everything is made to order. They have the generic sizing, but you can request us to completely customize your items according to your sizes. So I think what we're offering in technology, it does take away the trial and trying it on in a trial room. But this is how the future is going to be. Everything is going to be virtual. So there doesn't need to be an actual trial room. This is virtually trying on, basically.
So trying virtually, and first before executing any idea, testing it, and first being clear as to what I want to do. And then since you have your mother also as your partner, so convincing her or interacting with her in sort of fine-tuning the idea. How was that process? And allow me to add, interacting with mother has advantages and disadvantages both as an entrepreneur. Talk to me about that.
So obviously I partnered up with my mom because I'm an only child and she's my best friend, and also now my co-founder. There are advantages and disadvantages. The advantages that I can trust her 100%. She's never going to cheat me. She's never going to lie to me. So that's why I think choosing her was a perfect person, especially also that our aesthetics and fashion also match. She might be the older version of me, but I'm the young and Generation Z version who is more modern and contemporary, but with her classic sense of style. Working with her in a brand, obviously we do have our disagreements and we have our challenges in communication because we like to talk unprofessionally sometimes, but we have really gotten through that. And now we have a full system in how we work. I take care of some things and she takes care of something. So I'm really on the front end work and she's really in the back end working and talking with the artisans, curating all our pieces, and I do more of the technology pieces. It was a learning curve for her and me working together, especially for her to learn how to use Google Drive, Excel, Slack, but she's learned everything extremely well. And at age 60, and I really commend her for really jumping and starting her career again at age 60.
Wonderful. I'm really, really proud of you for actually, in a way, inspiring your mother also to take up this role with you. And as you move forward, there are several challenges. One which anyone would have butterflies somewhere in the stomach, thinking whether I will succeed, whether I will not succeed, whether I should invest this much of my time and energy and of course money, or shouldn't I? So what is it that gives you a sense of stability and clarity and helps you in sustaining your focus? So let us go beyond business and look at, call it some spiritual practices or something that you learned from your father or mother, or which helps you in staying in a stable space.
So there's 2 really big things. One is my family. they keep me in check and they keep me on the right path. And the second is obviously God and chanting Hanuman Chalisa. Sometimes, obviously, any entrepreneur is going to go through some like anxiety, especially at this. I'm 26 and I'm launched my own company and invested a lot of time, effort, and money into it. But sometimes when I'm really doubting myself, especially when I need to turn off my brain, I just chant Hanuman Chalisa and it really calms me down and brings the inner strength in me.
And looking at the upcoming website of Kaanjj, there are several connected, call them suppliers or artists with your Kaanjj. What is it that you were specifically looking into them? As a layman and as an outsider, I would say that you have to find people who are reliable.
Yes.
And that is that is also not easy. So, what was your test to kind of evaluate their reliability?
So it was very difficult, especially because we launched during COVID. So we weren't physically able to go back to India or Sri Lanka or Pakistan to feel the things. But we have, what we are doing in our supply chain is that each piece that someone orders is quality checked completely in our Bombay office. So before it's sent out, we check it out and make sure that it's up to par, it's up to perfection, and then it gets sent out. And even finding the artisans, we really had to research them, talk to them. We've had months and months of discussions, and that's how we have to know that they're reliable. There are some suppliers that are not reliable and don't answer their phones on time, don't answer emails. So those are all the key things that you look at before getting into business with someone. And that really was a key factor in deciding if we were going to trust them and sign a contract with them or not.
Absolutely. And another thing which I found very interesting and impressive about your approach was your social responsibility and how that fits into your business model.
So my mother was a social worker and my Masis also. And that has always been instilled into how I was raised. And I always had I just always wanted to help everyone. And I wanted to combine the social work and fashion and add value and help our community and our environment. So our one USP is that for each purchase placed on Kaanjj.com, we will be planting a sampling in India because obviously we do offer global shipping, so there will be carbon emissions, but we want to try to become as carbon neutral as possible. All of our packaging is completely sustainable and biodegradable. So even our plastic mailers are plant-based, and even our paper is also like flaxseed paper or linen paper. So everything is biodegradable. And then our second USP is that a percentage of our profits are going to actually go to a group home in Calcutta, which is a home of girls that are severely disabled and cannot be adopted because of their disabilities. So we also want to empower them as much as I can. And actually, I feel like I can also hopefully in the future mentor them to go into the community and work themselves.
Now, coming back to the marketing part, and you did your course in communication and marketing and PR also. When you compare Kaanjj with some similar portals that are available for consumers, what would you say sets Kaanjj apart, or what is the unique offering from Kaanjj?
The first thing is that it is a completely curated collective. Our designers or artisans present us with hundreds of products, but we curate it to our aesthetic. So, and each brand that we have on our website is completely different than the other. We want each brand or artisan to shine and have a place for themselves, to obviously have a platform. The second thing is that we are very conscientious about our environment and our community, and everything is really thoughtfully done, and we want to support our artisans, our designers, our NGO, and the environment through our brand. And the third thing is that we are completely intergenerational. we're a mother-daughter duo, and we offer things for the young contemporary person like me, but we also offer the traditional textiles and weaves for the ages around my mom.
Wonderful. And if we look at the category of products that you offer, mainly garments or more?
So right now we are offering clothing and accessories, but in the future we do want to expand, and we only offer it to women right now. But obviously, we do want to expand one day into menswear and homeware, and slowly we will expand and become a global brand.
Okay, now let's look at some other sides of your personality in terms of what helps you in relaxing.
Relaxing. I've really started to learn how to work out, and I love going for a run or a spinning class, and that helps me relax because you turn off completely and you put your music on really loud and you're just running and you're with the world. I especially really have learned how to run outside, and that's also helped me relax.
Nature plays an important role,
It does.
not only in any creative pursuit, but also in sustaining your passion and focus. Talk to me about the several places that you have seen, top 3 places that you really enjoyed as far as natural beauty is concerned.
So recently I went to Portland, Oregon, and we went on a very long 5-6 hour hike, and that really helped me reset. I was very stressed with the soft launch that had just happened the week before, and that hike helped me reset and bring back my inner peace and sleeping properly and everything. My second favorite place, I think, would be Lonavala. It's also a safe haven for me. We spend a lot of our time there, and my house is actually, a lot of it's outside, is with my dad's gardening and everything. That's also a very peaceful place for me to go, and that brings me back also a stress-free place because it's not in the hustle and bustle of a city. And then the third one would be, I'm trying to think, probably
Ladakh?
Ladakh was also a very beautiful place, especially with the sea, like the outside spaces. It was a very serene place to be, and spiritual also at the same time.
So, last 2 questions related to your favorite book.
Ooh.
And then I'll give you the hint for the next question in advance. Who would you consider as your role model as an entrepreneur? Would be the second. First, favorite book.
My favorite book, I think, I haven't had much time to read, I can't lie, lately, but a really big book that really resonates with what I've loved in literature would be The Kite Runner. I think that was a beautiful book, and it made me very, I've read it multiple times actually. And then, what was the...
So, Kite Runner, what did you like? Why repeat read?
I liked, because I read it I think twice or 3 times, but I really enjoyed it because it really showed the country in a different view than what we are seeing these days. So that's why I really enjoyed it, and the story was obviously
very, very engrossing. And now the final question is your role model as an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur role model. Honestly, I think I get my business genes from I never met him, but my Nana was a businessman, and he always worked for himself. And I think he always persevered and worked hard his whole life. And I think that would be my role model.
Wonderful. So I wish you more success than you can imagine with the Kaanjj. And what I also appreciate, the project, call it, or this contemporary perspective on India by bringing South Asian Western wear to the forefront, which includes a lot of Indian artisans also. So it is a parallel to some of the government initiatives where they encourage, and you are actually providing a world market to some of these people who would not get that kind of exposure. So I applaud you on that also. With lots and lots of good wishes.
Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure having you here.
Thank you again for having me.
Thanks for coming. So here is a young CEO and founder of Kaanjj, Karnika Kisnadwala. Thanking her for being with us with good wishes, and of course, thanks to all of you for being a part of this energetic as well as promising conversation. This is Ashok Vyas. Namaste.